Hello everybody, we're going to go through the Susie square calculator at the end of getting started with Python. It's their first assignment. So on my USB drive is where I'm going to work tonight. And remember, we made a Spring 25 folder, we made a Python folder, we made a Week 1 folder. I have found in my experience the best way to work with Visual Studio Code is to open the folder. So I am in File Explorer. I'm going to right click on Week 1. Whoops, that didn't work. Just a second here, my thing went the wrong way. There we go. There it is. Right click on Week 1. Week 1 should be over here on the left side. Go to Show More Options. And here we have Open with Code. Let's open that guy up with code. Let me bring my program over here. If you've not opened up a particular folder before, you may get this cryptic little message. This is Microsoft trying to make sure that you don't run code that's not secure. Well, this is code. Do you trust yourself? You're the author. Well, I think we do. So we're going to say yes. All right, we're going to make the square calculator program. Let me delete the one we did today in class because I forgot to record it. All right, and we'll zoom in a little bit here. There we go. So there's a couple of different ways you can make files in Visual Studio Code. You can click this little guy. That's what I'll use tonight. Click the New File button. We'll give it the name of SQUARE calculator. And don't forget to put the .py and Windows.py tells Windows that this is a Python file. Or it tells Visual Studio Code it's a Python file. All right, so we'll hit this to get everything out of the way. I need to turn off my Copilot help. I'm going to disable completions because I don't want him interfering. In the assignment, in Getting Started, Chapter 2, I have the directions for the assignment. Well, when you're doing a program, you usually want to try to plan out ahead of time what you want the program to do. So this is a to-do document that's like pseudocode. I've planned out what I'm going to do. The nice thing about to-dos or pseudocode is I can take this in any programming language and I can use this to create a program. This is not specific to Python. The thing that is specific to Python is how the comments are done. So I'm going to select it, Control-C for copy. I'm a big fan of shortcut keys so I can get things done quickly. Go over here. Whoops, I'm not asking Copilot anything. Control-V to paste. And there's my to-do list. You would change this to your name, change this to the current date. This is just when I first created this thing. Well, we're going to print a creative program title. The program title is just the name of your program. I'm not going to get very creative. You can get as creative as you want. I'm just going to put in a few dashes, put in the name, SQUARE, calculator, a few dashes. I think that's the same number I had. And I need to finish off, and when the program runs, it's going to say square calculator, which helps the user know what in the world you're working with. They're working with. So in our assignment, we have a couple math formulas. We have area equals side squared. We have perimeter equals 4 times side. One of the things that we do in programming is take math formulas and convert them into Python code. So I'm going to copy both of these formulas into the to-do for the calculate area. And, oh, that was weird. I'm not sure why it did that. Just a second here. All right, so the math formula in Word is put in using the equation calculator, and so it puts in all kinds of weird goop here. I did this from the PDF, so that works fine. So I'm going to copy this. Because Python and any code file is text, it doesn't put the 2 up there like it normally would in math, but now I have my formulas. Oh, and that's not supposed to be an A, that's supposed to be a length. And this is supposed to be a length, so I got that wrong. There we go. So now we have our, side. 4 times side. There we go. All right. So now we have our formulas in here. We're going to display our results. Let's get the information from the user. Well, do you have to type in an input statement every single time you do a program? No. If you've already typed it in once, like we did in savings account, for example, or inches to centimeters, these are previous tutorials that we did, I've already got what I want right here. So I'm going to select that, Control C to copy, and put that right here. So far, so good. So I would change this to side, which is a good variable for the length of the side. Let's put a lowercase in there. I'm going to say enter length of side. Oops. There, length of side. Well, I don't have to call this side. Maybe length is better. Yeah, we'll call it length. So we've talked about order of operations, PEDMAS. Parentheses tell Python how to do things. So when we run this command, because enter length of side is inside the inside parentheses, this is printed out first. The second thing that happens is the input takes in whatever you've typed at the keyboard and pressed enter. And when anything is entered from the keyboard and anything, it is a string or text. But we can't calculate with Fred or something else. We have to have it converted to a number. So float converts your string or text input into a float number. So a float number is like 0.125. Float just means we have decimal points over there. So the actual term is floating point, which has to do with how computer processors process numbers. So at this point, we have a float number of 14.2 or whatever it is. This is assigned to this. This value that comes out of here is assigned and stored in that variable. All right, so we can keep using that variable. Now we're going to do a calculation. Well, there's our calculation, right? A, which would be area, and math, we use little numbers, little symbols that are just one thing. In programming, we want to define it so we know what in the world is going on. So we're going to have length squared. Well, there is a command to do that, but if we just multiply length times length, we get length squared. So now we have our area. Length, length, and length are the same. Anytime you access the variable and access the value of a variable, we're multiplying those two values together. We assign the result of that operation to this variable. So at this point, length, length, and length are all the same value. All right, let's do the same thing for perimeter. Perimeter, whoops, there we go, perimeter. Oh, and I have an E in here. I don't know why I'm having trouble with perimeter. Anyway, perimeter equals 4 times the length. Oops, can't spell length either. So length here, here, and here, and here are all the same value. We don't change anything on the right side. We do operations, calculations over here. Whatever the result of this is, we assign it to the perimeter variable. Now we want to display the results in a nice way. Well, we've already done that with some of our previous programs. So, savings account, let's look at that one. Look at here. Let's copy this print statement, which uses an F string or a formatting string to format it. So I'm going to copy that line because we want to say how many decimal points and all that we are going to display and make it look nice. So I'm going to paste that in here. Well, the first thing I'm going to change is the name. And I think it says, what does the direction say? Oh, yeah, we need the area first. So we're going to type in area. We'll change this to the area variable. And this is not money, so we'll go boop, take care of that little $sign. The colon after the variable name says there are formatting codes coming up that will change how this number is displayed. The comma shows us how to display thousands. That's what the number looks like when Python calculates with it, but how can you tell how big it is when we display it? We want to put commas in there so we can say, oh yeah, we can see now that that is 1,000,000. So that's what the comma does. What if this number was 0.2222? Well, we don't need to see all of that. The 2 indicates that we're only going to show 2 decimal points. Float, or F, means that we're working with a float. To do perimeter, we would copy that and add perimeter. Change it. So once you've typed something in, perimeter, once you've typed something in, you don't have to type it in again, per-im. I leave out the I, perimeter. You've typed it in once, no reason to type it again. Just modify what you've already done. There it is, perimeter. There's our complete program. I will give you, when we start out, I'll give you the to-do outline to get you used to the structure of a program. All programs are going to go in the same sequence. We have input of some sort coming into the program. We do some sort of calculations, and then we do some sort of input. So all programs have input, calculate, output. They're all in that same pattern. All right, let's run this guy, make sure it works. I always put in an example run so that you can see if your calculations are right. So I'm going to use the example from the assignment, 21.2, and there it is. It's supposed to be 449.44 and 84.80. So there we are.